morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is J.R. Moore coming to you live from deep in the mountains of the Missouri Ozarks on Monday, the 9th day of June, the year of our Lord 2014. Welcome to the John Moore Show. At beforeitsnews.com, there's an article about the Black Knight satellite. I watched one of the two videos there, very well done. The real deal is the Black Knight satellite. I've verified this through numerous private sources that there is, in fact, a satellite, I'll say man-made, it's sometimes called artificial-made, satellite orbiting Earth on a polar orbit. That is real, and you might want to check that out. I got the callers stacking up here. One caller off air asked, what's the current status of Planet X? It's coming. It comes every 3,500, 3,600 years, thereabouts, and knocks all these civilizations to their knees. Anybody who studies archaeology will ponder, why in the world, every 3,500, 3,600 years, does every civilization on the planet get knocked down to barefoot peasants groveling in the mud, which is exactly what happens every 3,500, 3,600 years. Let's get to the callers here. First, we got Robert in Missouri. Good morning, Robert.
Hey, John. I'm a first-time caller. I'm a Missourian. I live in the St. Louis area. And how do you think this is going to play out in the rural areas, you know, outside of the cities versus the cities when this collapse, this next false flag, this economic disruption goes down, the grid failure, whatever this thing's going to be, and it's probably a cocktail of numerous ones of those that I just mentioned.
Well, yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you're on it. When you said cocktail, you're on the right track there, Robert, because what I'm seeing in the not-too-distant future is several things happening concurrently. One or more deadly viruses multiplying dangerously rapidly, the grid going down, and the economy collapsing. And, of course, Russian troops being in the United States is not a fantasy. That's real. Just taking one of those, the grid going down, 9 out of 10 people in the United States would be dead anywhere from 9 months to 2 years, depending on what authority you go to for your answer. That's assuming a best case scenario. It could be worse, because if you mix in a deadly virus, it certainly could be worse. Getting to the heart of your question as to the difference between the outlying areas and the cities, well, cities will be death traps. And they will be literally traps, especially if there's a deadly virus in a city. The military will cordon it off with men, heavily armed men, to keep the people who are contagious contained inside the city, so they can't get out. Of course, some will get out, but that's what they'll do, and they may even go so far as to exterminate the people in these cities who have been exposed to a lethal virus. Going beyond that, Robert, it's hard to say.
No, as a follow-up, this Homeland Security buildup, this internal Stasi force that's being constructed right in front of our face, they're going to probably be working with this international, and it's probably Russian, Eastern Bloc, and some Chinese. What intel do you, I mean, there's so many people in the alternative media that want to play down this aspect. They want to play up the Putin-U.S. Conflict, where under the surface, so many of us paying attention see this as a ruse, you know, like the perestroika deception.
Right.
Where are you at with that?
Well, the international part of it, of course, is a component. I touched on it briefly about talking about the Russians. I got a first-hand report from a private source yesterday about Gurkhas, the Himalayan mountain mercenaries that the British have used for 2 centuries being in Colorado. and driving around in black Chevy Suburbans with their Gurkha emblem on the side, which is the crossed knives, an image of these big kukri crossed knives that they carry. So yes, that will be a component of it, and they're here. They've been invited here at the request of our federal government, and when the time comes, they will go into action.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call.
Okay, Robert. Appreciate it. And we go to Mike in Maryland. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Great show here. I really appreciate all the advice and help that you try to offer to people. You mentioned because EMP attack, potential EMP attack, whether false flag or whatever, scares the what out of me. You mentioned somebody in the program that sort of stuck in my mind, a guy that his profession is EMP proofing cars. I don't know, does the guy still do the business? Is it cost prohibitive? I would imagine, obviously.
Any competent mechanic can do that. This particular, and there's no special expertise. And when I say competent mechanic, typically it would be a man over age 50 who is very familiar with these earlier vehicles. Now, you may want to go to my website, Mike, and read the report from the engineers and scientists of what EMP can do and can't do. Now, according to them, these vehicles are going to be pretty much okay.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes, and the reason is the tires prevent the vehicle from being grounded.
Yeah.
Just like an airplane. Airplanes get lightning strikes all the time, especially in South Florida where so many thunderstorms. And they rarely get more than minor problems despite getting hit by lightning. That's because they're not grounded. And automobiles and trucks and motorcycles are not grounded either because of the tires between them and the pavement.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Hey, thanks, because I keep hearing conflicting views on the possible EMP effects on automobiles.
Well, here's the deal. Read that first of all. Read that report.
Okay.
Even if your vehicle runs, and your vehicle will run, fuel is the issue. There's not going to be any fuel. Whatever fuel you got in your tank, you may get some from another source, but the refiners will be down. The delivery system won't be working properly.
Sure.
So whatever fuel there is all you got. So you may have a vehicle that runs on one hand, but on the other, whatever fuel you got is what fuel you got. End of story.
So you won't be getting very far then.
Well, it depends on how much fuel you stored up here, Mike. Now, my neighbors typically have 500-gallon tanks because they're ranchers and farmers.
Wow.
But, that's common in the Ozarks and any place there's ranching and farming going on is 500 to 1,000 gallons of diesel fuel and gasoline on site.
But I heard gasoline goes bad after about a year or so. Is that true?
In a negative, you need to keep it cool and not let moisture get to it, and have a good preservative. The two best preservatives, non-military, I've found are PRIG for gasoline and PRID for diesel. I don't sell those, but they're the best preservatives I've found. I routinely use diesel fuel and gasoline both around here that are 10-plus years old with no problems at all.
And that's without using any additives?
That's when using the additives I just described, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, thanks a lot for your advice. I appreciate it.
Okay, Mike, we appreciate it. We have the end of the show. It's been fun. You'll be safe out there. Get your medical supplies, firearms, and ammunition. Never, ever give up your guns. Have a fun, safe, productive day, and God bless America.